Hi, welcome to Local Flavor. I'm Deborah Anderson and we're here at Aunt Faye's Community Kitchen in Moreland, Kansas. And my guest today is Darcie Lumpkin. And she's going to show us how to make regular cupcakes into something giftable and beautiful. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me. Today we're going to be making bakery icing, a buttercream bakery icing that I've perfected over the years. And then I will be showing you some different decorated cupcakes, ideas for graduation, Mother's Day, birthdays, anything like that.
Awesome. That season is a-coming, so there's always some reason to make a cupcake.
There really is. All right. Is it okay if I go ahead and get started?
Let's do it.
My icing calls for 2 cups of Crisco. I do use Crisco. I have tried different brands. I always come back to Crisco. It's got the best texture. It gives me the most true flavor, color, and really stands up the best. I do use the white. I don't use butter flavoring or the butter flavoring Crisco because it will discolor your frosting if you're wanting a true white. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna cream 2 cups of Crisco, and then we're gonna add some milk and butter flavoring and vanilla flavoring.
And I noticed that your butter and vanilla flavoring were both clear so that you don't have to worry about
That is correct.
muddying up your pretty frosting.
You can use, the regular vanilla like you get at your grocery store. Our local hardware store actually sells the cake baking supplies. They carry the clear butter, the clear vanilla for me.
Darcie is from Phillipsburg.
All right, I'm
So
going to
she's
go ahead
talking
and get
about
started
Sawyer's
here.
Ace Hardware.
I am. So I'm just going to get that started to cream there with the Crisco. And then I have found that if you just add all of the liquid ingredients, so I'm adding the butter and the vanilla flavoring now.
Okay, so you were adding them at the beginning.
I am.
How much of each did you put in?
I actually put in a teaspoon of vanilla, and I put in a tablespoon and a half of the butter flavoring. On my recipe that I've provided for you, there are some varying amounts, all to taste. Depends on what you prefer. I am adding 5 tablespoons of milk. On the recipe that I provided, it says 4 to 6. I've made this enough that I know that today I want to add 5. If you're going to be using this icing to do more of your like flowers, rosettes, add-on decorations, you're going to want to use less milk.
Okay.
If you're going to be using the frosting as like your base coat, your main frosting on your item, you're going to want to add more so it's easier to spread.
Okay, I never even thought about that. I read that in your recipe and I went, I didn't realize it would be, it makes sense after you said it, but I have never thought about it myself, which is probably why I fail at decorating so much. So I'm hoping I'll learn something I can actually do.
Like I said, I've perfected this over the years. When I first started, I started with a royal icing. It's a very stiff icing. And this is a recipe that I found that I modified that I could work with. You can, like I said, add less milk to make it more stiff, to make your designs more crisp, and definitely add more to make it so much easier to spread. I think that's a challenge for a lot of beginning decorators, is finding that consistency that you can work with, that holds up, that still looks good at the end.
And the royal icing you probably have to use right away because doesn't it harden?
It does. It does. It gets kind of a crust on the top of it. And this stays more soft, more subtle, So I really, really like this one. I'm going to go ahead and just cream these items together.
How long do you think it will stir? Do you have any techniques for how to keep it from being such a mess? I always feel like when you start putting in the powdered sugar, it flies up.
It's important to add it gradually.
Okay.
I am notorious for being a very messy cook, but I have found that if you try to use the protector on here, it's difficult to pour the powdered sugar in. The big thing is just to do small amounts, add gradually. Yeah, I remember one of the first times I made this recipe in a KitchenAid mixer, and I dumped like half the bag of powdered sugar in, and it kind of poofed. And
It does, it makes a poof. I kind of, if I'm honest, I miss my antique little Sunbeam one where the bowl moves instead of the...
it's spun around instead of the
and
actual...
and it was kind of on, so that it would go to the edge, it was a little bit off center. So the beaters were on one edge, and then it turned, and it made it so much easier to scrape and to add stuff. I mean, you can't beat a KitchenAid mixer, but I do miss that one thing about my old antique Sunbeam. So.
When I first started making this, I used a hand mixer. And my oldest daughter was probably around 2, and I had burnt up 3 hand mixers in a 2-week time span.
Oh my goodness.
And so, because that frosting just was so thick at the end when you're adding that powdered sugar, and I got gifted with a KitchenAid.
What color is yours? This one is for the Aunt Faye's Community Kitchen, so what color is yours?
Mine is actually white.
Well.
And I have to confess, it's not pure white anymore. Little splashes that have stained it with different coloring and items. And
it's probably like a hippie one.
It is. It's been very well loved.
When you sell it at your auction, it will be a big hit.
Okay. So the big thing to make sure here is that everything's smooth. You're shortening, you want it to be smooth, you don't want any lumps in it.
Do you need me to grab a spatula, or are you good?
I actually would love to have a spatula.
Okay,
Rubber
let me get
spatula
one.
would be great.
Wait. I put it here. Is that long enough? I
Yep,
can get a longer
that'll work.
stick.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and flip this up and kind of scrape this down so we can get ready to start adding our powdered sugar. When I'm doing this at home, my son normally does this part.
He does?
Yes.
The scraping?
He bakes my cakes, makes and bakes my cakes for me, and he makes my frosting.
Well, you're going to miss him when he goes to college.
Terrible.
next year.
I am.
Or maybe no more cakes for a year.
Okay. So this is now blended smooth. There's no lumps in anything here. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of the powdered sugar. By the time I'm done, we will have added the 2-pound bag.
Right.
We will use all of this.
I have a frosting recipe very similar to this, but it also has like orange extract and lemon extract in it, and I think a little almond. So, there's thousands and thousands of recipes for icing.
Oh, definitely.
But if you find one that works for you, definitely stick with it. Look at you.
I was a little nervous. Didn't want it to go everywhere.
Well, have you seen maybe you have one, the beater that has the edge that's a spatula?
No.
Oh, well, you might like it.
Yeah.
I feel that it throws it even worse with that. But if it's
Really?
already incorporated in, it's wonderful. But there's no place for anything to go except for in a poof.
All right, we're gonna add some more here.
This will be bright, bright white.
Yes.
Should we, since we know we're going to incorporate all this in, why don't we go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we'll have all of this in, and we'll see what it looks like. Is that all right with you?
Sounds great.
Well, since Darcie said so, let's take a break.
When a storm leaves your home battered and damaged, there's only one thing you can do. Forget all about it. The men in black at Aqua Shield Roofing and Construction have the skills and knowledge to fix your home so you'll forget the damage ever happened. Along with roofs, they do siding, guttering, insulation, windows, doors, and more. With offices in Hugoton, Oberlin, and Liberal, they're never too far away when damage strikes. When you need to forget about home damage, call the men in black at Aqua Shield Roofing and Construction.
Make a difficult choice an easy one with Cedar View Assisted Living's knowledgeable and caring staff. Your loved one will be professionally taken care of as they transition into their new community. With movies, holiday parties, planned exercises, and games, residents will have opportunities every day to enjoy their time at Cedar View. Multiple room styles are available, ensuring a just right fit for your loved one. Come see Cedar View Assisted Living for yourself next to Sternberg Museum. The care you need, the home you want.
If you could, what would you have in your kitchen? The quietest dishwasher? Sure. A big 28 cubic foot refrigerator? Oh yeah. A true convection wall oven? Check. You'll find Frigidaire professional kitchen appliances at Genuine Appliance in Hayes. They have all that, plus real stainless steel for fewer fingerprints and smudges. Frigidaire at Genuine Appliance at 1224 East 27th in Hayes. Your dream kitchen doesn't have to be a dream anymore.
The plumber said there's something wrong with my water. It looks like you have hard water. You need a water softener. Let me show you the options we have. Hey, do you guys deliver salt? We sure do. What about drinking water? We have water coolers and drinking water systems. We even have bottled water.
Find us on Facebook and itsbetterwater.com. And remember,
It's not just water, it's better water!
Welcome back to Local Flavor. We have finished the frosting and we have a lot of them already mixed with colors, but she is going to show us the kind of colors she uses for one, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Darcie.
Yes. You can use liquid coloring for your frosting. I prefer gel just because it's not going to change the texture of your frosting as much. And again, definitely you can use the liquid, but to get a true color that you want, like a royal color, a jewel tone, gel is better because it's going to take less. It's not going to change that consistency. I'm going to mix up some yellow right now. Just going to squeeze a little bit in here. It really doesn't take much. And then you just stir it in.
Oh, I thought that was going to be brown. It was so dark, but look at that. Oh, that is exactly the color you showed me in the picture.
And it
We're
doesn't
gonna make
take,
sunflowers with it, in case you were wondering. Doesn't that look like?
it doesn't take very much at all. You know, if we wanted to go with a more golden rod color, we could definitely add more and make that darker. But I just kind of wanted a buttery yellow. So just stir that in till it's good and mixed in.
I hope Aubrey sees this. She loves sunflowers.
Oh. Okay. So I already have a bag prepared for this. I do use a disposable bag, but these are definitely reusable. I wash mine in hot soapy water and reuse them.
Are these ones new or?
These are actually new. They
Oh, okay.
come with that tip still on them. So before you get ready to use them, you'll want to cut that tip off, just a pair of scissors. Kind of judge. Start out lower, put your tip in. I use what's called a coupler as well. And it's just a plastic piece that you insert into the bag. You're going to put your tip on top, and then there's a little ring.
Now, sometimes are the threads on these, if you have a different brand, or no?
The threads on that. Yeah, it kind of depends. I use mostly Wilton brand, just because that's what's readily available to me. And I've had really good luck with that over the years. You can also use just the tip with the bag.
Oh, that's what you've got going on here, huh?
And so I did want to show you that too. I like the coupler just because I feel like I get a better seal and I'm not gonna chance squeezing too hard and getting frosting everywhere.
For sure.
So when you fill your bags, the best way to do it is to kind of flip that top over. You're gonna hold that portion in your hand and then just spoon in your frosting.
I kind of interrupted you when you were talking about the cleaning. You wash it in hot soapy water, and then do you have to like have it open so it will dry?
I do, and I also turn mine inside out when they dry.
Okay.
And I usually put them like over a plastic cup, just so that they're open good and can get good air to them and dry. They do make like kind of a fabric with a plastic lined bag as well. Those are nice. I kind of steer clear of those because your coloring can really alter the coloring of your bag, and then with these you can see right through. You know what color you've got right away. You're good to go.
Oh yeah, good thinking.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start off with making a sunflower.
Yay.
Start off with our cupcake.
Does it matter what flavor?
It doesn't, and I'm gonna be honest, I always use a box mix, but you can use your favorite from scratch mix. Just go ahead and make your cupcakes, make sure they're cool. So we're gonna start out with our cupcake, and I'm just going to put some frosting right here in the middle.
And this is not part of the decoration yet. This is
No.
like glue.
This is like our glue, because we're actually gonna put an Oreo in the middle,
The whole thing?
the whole thing.
Okay.
But we're gonna go ahead and start and make our petals. So we're gonna squeeze. You're gonna wanna use a little more force, and as you pull out, let up.
Do you want me to try it?
You bet.
I cannot decorate. No,
And we're just-
you do one and then I'll
Okay.
do mine.
We're just gonna follow this circle. And there's no right or wrong way. And as you can see, I do have some open areas where you can still see cake. We're going to cover that up.
With another layer.
Uh-huh.
Now, how did you choose your tip on this, or does it matter?
I went with this very open star. And the tips all have different numbers on them. This is actually a 32. It's very versatile. You can do different swirls with it, get flower effects. So I just picked this because it's one of my favorites, but you could use even just a round circle. They have other closed stars. So we're just gonna press our Oreo on top there. That's gonna be our center. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and pipe some more petals around here and go up on the cookie a little bit.
So how'd you learn how to do this?
I actually taught myself. When my niece was little, we had ordered her a cake, and I just wasn't happy with how it was. And so I decided I could do it. And
At least that well, right?
so I started making Barney cakes. And
Oh, so you bought a Barney shaped
I
cake pan?
bought a Barney shaped cake pan, and she was crazy about that purple dinosaur. So there we go. We have our sunflower.
I'll do one now.
And I
Let's see if this
probably
can be done.
made, I can even begin at least 20 dinosaurs those first 2 years between her and my nephew and friends' kids. And
You make another pretty one while I mess up a sunflower.
all right. I am going to make,
You're moving through this frosting fast. Okay. Now what's this one gonna be?
I'm going to make a turtle. I think probably in decorating, people maybe don't think they can do it because it seems too hard. This is just gonna be a basic, we're gonna frost the cupcake, and then we're gonna use candy actually for the decoration on top.
Oh.
So this is something even like kids can do. So I'm just gonna put some frosting on top here.
You just, oh, the stuff we haven't put in a bag yet?
Yep, this was just some left in the bowl. And so I've got my base on there. And then I've got some gummy peach rings, some gumdrops, and the legs for this turtle are actually a gumdrop that I just took one and cut into 4 pieces with a knife. So we're just gonna start. I kind of stretch these out a little bit, just a little bit, because you're gonna put a colored gumdrop in the center. Very good, yay! Okay, so I'm just gonna put this down here. And here's his head. Here's his colored shell for his back. And then...
Who invented this one?
This actually, my youngest daughter had an entrepreneurship project in junior high, and she and a friend decided they wanted to do cupcakes, decorated cupcakes. And so they found some different design ideas. This is where we first saw this actually be done.
Well, shall we make a few more turtles and then come back and do some other designs?
You
What do
bet.
think? Okay, I can do this one for sure. We'll be right back.
The easiest way for you to get anywhere in the country is the Hayes Regional Airport. Twice daily flights between Hayes and Denver means you are only 45 minutes from over 100 direct flights to get you to your destination as quick as possible. Service from SkyWest has completely changed the flight experience out of Hayes thanks to the 50-passenger jets that include complimentary beverages and an in-flight restroom. With free parking and short security lines, there has never been a better time to use the Hayes Regional Airport. The next time you travel, check Hayes first at flyhays.com to see the time and money you could save.
You should never run out of the important stuff.
Oh.
Oh man, I gotta go.
If your current wireless plan leaves you at the end of your rope, imagine how you'll feel with Nex-Tech Wireless with unlimited everything. Nex-Tech Wireless gives you the freedom to go as far as you want. Nex-Tech Wireless, something different.
Hi? We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Let us shop for you. Contact Rogers & Associate to learn more.
Well, welcome back to Local Flavor. We have been decorating and decorating during the break, and Darcie's going to give us the secrets of what she's got going on here.
All right, so I've made some different cupcakes up while we were on break. I made a little owl. You just base coat your cupcake.
Now, you use the tip, but you wouldn't have to, would you?
You wouldn't have to, no. I did use a tip just because I had the frosting ready to go. But you could just, use a knife or a spatula, put that on there. And then I used Oreos, opened them up, frosting, and then just M&Ms. I put a little dot of frosting and put the little eyes on there, and then just an orange M&M for his beak.
Aww. I bet if you put enough frosting, you could use the other half of the Oreo and just make the white out of the frosting.
Or if you want to use that other half of the Oreo and eat some frosting and have a snack while you're that's always great too. I made a football, and I used a smaller star tip for this one. And this, you just kind of do that squiggly line, get your basic football shape. And then I just used white icing to pipe on my laces.
And that was that small hole. That's what you write with. That's the script writer, maybe?
Yep. And they do have different sizes. They go from itty bitty, teeny tiny to a great big opening which is what I use just for a swirl on this. I also made just some little decorative swirls, play around with it. I just did little circles on this one. And then I also did a two-tone flower hydrangea type of thing here. When you're putting that in the bag, you'll want to keep, when you put your first color in, make sure you keep it over to one side. You don't want to smear it on the other side. It can be kind of tricky. Start with small amounts. That's the big thing there. Then you're just going to want to make sure and push down. I go ahead and do a couple of starting frosting with that, just because I don't want one color to overpower the other. And it does look different every time when you're mixing the two. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. It's just going to be stars. And it's really pretty easy, but I like the way it looks. So you're just going to squeeze and release, and you just go clear around.
I love when they mix the colors like that. I think I've heard some people use 2 bags inside one.
If you have like a great big bag, you can definitely do that. I've never done that, but I would see a benefit to that, less mess. You're getting a truer blend of your colors.
That looks pretty.
So you're just going to keep going around till you have everything covered here.
I really like it when they mix the colors.
It does really dress it up, and it just is really simple.
Okay.
And you could even go back if you wanted to. With our yellow, we could put, you know, our centers on our little flower buds. You could definitely do that to dress that up. I did bring a couple of items to show for a display. Mother's Day is coming up. One of my favorite ways that I've come up with recently is just a plastic champagne or a wine goblet. They're very inexpensive. I put a whole sheet of green tissue paper. I just crumple that up, stuff it in the bottom, and then you're going to need to cut squares. And you kind of have to judge a little bit. We're going to crinkle this up a little bit, like so, just kind of pinch it in the middle. And then we're going to take our flower cupcake, put that on top of there, and place that in the cup.
Oh, it looks like a flower.
Yes. And that is just a really quick, easy gift, you know, for that special mom, grandma, daycare provider, anybody like that. Super fun, super easy, and expensive.
So I've been wondering about the M&Ms.
Yes.
What are you going to do with that one?
Well, this one, again, just a display, and I've thought about doing this for graduation with the champagne or the wine glass, inexpensive. Put M&Ms in the bottom, and then you just top it with your favorite cupcake.
Like a lid.
Yes.
Well, that is
just
great.
dresses it up, a little more display. Just kind of makes it fun. You could do different colors, more primary colors. I know they sell different colored M&Ms, so you could tailor it to your party colors even. So,
well, those are some great ideas, and I love that you did the owls because those are so popular right now.
They are.
And it just gives you a launching point for so many other ideas too. So thanks. And the frosting is actually delicious. I tasted some on the break. So thanks so much for showing us, Darcie, and thank you for joining us on Local Flavor.